Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the King's Couch podcast. Let's talk about your heart. Let's talk about my heart. Let's talk about the times that made us, the worst that shaped us, and the times that built us. We'll communicate about the matters of the heart with the perspective of the spirit. Think about it like this. We're going to therapy, and the king is here.
Ready?
Doing just fine
Yeah.
and dandy. All right, we're doing just fine and
Just
dandy.
fine and dandy.
Y'all doing
yes.
okay?
Doing good.
Doing
Wonderful.
good. I'm doing
Oh
good
yeah,
as
doing
Yes.
great.
well.
I'm so glad to be here
Yes.
with y'all
Yes, thank
Hey,
you very
on
much.
on the
excited to have
couch.
you.
Yep,
Yeah,
on the
this is
couch.
exciting. This
Yep.
is very exciting.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Just can't wait to see what the Lord's about to do.
Ooh.
Yes, yes.
Reason
I-
that I get to be here with y'all again.
Right. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we appreciate you coming
I love
back.
y'all dearly.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming back. There is a lot of anticipation with this episode. I know for me and myself, also too, where we have it scheduled at in this month, getting ready to go into the holidays. But yeah, so for those of you guys that are out there listening to us, welcome to the King's Couch podcast. We keep it epically kingdom around here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm one of the hosts, Jonathan. This is my wife, Kecia.
Hey, y'all.
All right. And we have a wonderful, tremendous guest that
yes,
I
we
can't.
do.
I'm so happy that she's here.
My
Chaplain Shannon
God. Yeah.
Porterfield. All right.
Thank y'all so much for
Thank
inviting
you.
me. It's
Yeah.
an honor.
Yeah, this woman is a wealth of wisdom and knowledge. Not just that, but last week, me and my wife, we joked around that she's like a Southern comfort blanket
Yes,
grandmother.
She is.
You know?
Sweet.
Yeah.
That is so sweet.
Yep, she really is. But I'm super excited to get into this. So we're going to get into this episode. We're going to talk about the bio that we got going on, just to give you a little bit of history about Chaplain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reverend Shannon Porterfield. Okay. She has been in ministry for over 25 years and is currently serving as a law enforcement chaplain for the Broken Arrow Police Department. She has a master's diploma in crisis response and trauma care from Light University. She is certified in individual and group incident stress management by William Bridges Associates to train others and groups to transition management to help them successfully manage the human side of change. She and her dog King became a therapy dog team for the Broken Arrow Police Department earlier this year in July. Welcome, Chaplain Shannon.
Yay.
Thank
Once
y'all
again.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you definitely have a lot of experience, and I'll say this: we do ride-alongs together. We work together, so we go to calls for service. And every time that she's in the car with me, it is a blessing that she's with me, because a lot of the calls that we go to, we are helping people out.
Yeah.
You know, they thinking they're getting ready to get an officer. No, they're getting ready to get a divine meeting.
Come on.
Okay, with two spirit-filled
Yes.
people that are on fire for God.
bringing the presence of the
Bringing
Lord.
it.
Amen.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time it happens. But in your bio, it talks about the human side. And with King's Grace, I understand the spiritual things, right? But I also, too, sometimes I think we deny the natural side of things. And I just want to talk, have you talk about the human side of this.
Absolutely. Well, grief is it's more than just an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a natural response to loss,
Okay.
whether it's the death of a significant other
Okay.
or the end of a relationship or the loss of a job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It can involve a range of emotions, including sadness,
Okay.
anger, guilt, despair.
Yeah.
And grief is a personal experience. It can manifest differently
Right.
for each individual.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's something that happens when we experience the loss of someone or something of value. And the key word there is value.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I like that. So, number one, we got to acknowledge grief because it's human. I'm human. You're human.
Yeah.
You're human. And this is something that we go through. And I think a lot of times in the church world or culture, we don't acknowledge that sometimes our feelings, our emotions, they get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about church hurt, but what about the hurt when an unexpected loss comes and it has a value, which I know that goes right into one of our questions as far as what is grief. You know, I think when we're dealing with grief a lot, we have to acknowledge it. For us to acknowledge it, that's probably, I would say, 25% to half the battle. Because if we go through life not acknowledging our emotions or the human frailties and the weaknesses, the infirmities that we go through, we're not going to be in truth.
Yeah.
You know, so I really like the fact too that you come with a lot of experience, you know, in training, real training to deal with grief.
Yeah, and I love in that definition how it says that grief is a loss of anything that had value. So everybody values different things, you know, and so that helps us to be more sensitive when someone says, you know, they lost their favorite bracelet or their favorite necklace, along with their job or a dream or a vision that they had or a goal they was reaching towards, and all of a sudden that goal is unattainable. Those type of things can push you into grief.
Absolutely. And we don't want to diminish it.
That's it right there. Yes.
Stuff those feelings.
Yeah.
We absolutely want to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Embrace them.
Okay.
We want to take the time to go through and process every loss.
Yeah.
Not
Yes,
just,
ma'am.
you know, you might think that, oh, well, losing a bracelet is just a little thing. But if it meant something to you, you need to process it.
Yeah.
What life is looking like now that you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Just a small thing. It could be more than a bracelet. Maybe it was a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it was given by somebody who really meant the world to you, and they're no longer here anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so I could definitely see how that can jumpstart, you know, to the emotions of grief, where I lost this one person that was special to me. They had great value to me, and then they gave me something that has a tremendous amount of value. And everybody in the world is just going on about their business, and they don't really understand. I think too, because part of human or emotional intelligence is being able to recognize things in other people.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and we talk a lot about you know, emotional intelligence, and I just have to say it like this: it comes down to being considerate of others, loving your neighbor. If you see somebody grieving like that, you can't devalue what they have a value on.
Yeah.
At least acknowledge it. You might not agree with it, or you might not understand it, but at least acknowledge it.
Exactly.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's big.
Very
I think
important.
too, like you said, with the emotional intelligence, it's also recognizing your own emotions.
Yeah.
Too, because it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So knowing that these types of things can also push someone to grief can help you, you know, be prepared on how to be helpful to them, more helpful than hurtful. And like you said, not diminishing the fact that this person is grieving whatever this thing is, or whoever the person was. Grief is grief.
Yes. I love one of the charts that I got from the Tristesse Grief Center here in Tulsa. It's over in the 71st and Lewis area.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and give a website for them right now.
Okay.
It's thegriefcenter.org.
Okay.
But they have a list of common reactions of grief.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that when you can recognize that something is a normal reaction, then you're not going to diminish it.
Yes.
I think that you're going to be able to go, oh, I see that.
Yeah.
You know, one of the physical reactions. Again, if you can normalize something, you can tell people you're not crazy, you're not weird, you're just human. You're just a normal human. Then that can help them go on and go through the process.
That's awesome.
But crying is a physical reaction. An emotional reaction is hopelessness and helplessness, anger. One of the ones that I think is real important on here is relief.
Yes.
If you can let someone be relieved that someone has passed, or maybe, you know, for me, an old kitty has passed, or you know, something that, you know, you can say relief is an absolutely common reaction to grief. Then you're not going to think, wow, they must not love them because they're relieved. Really?
That's really true for like caretakers. You know, people that take care of their elderly parents, or even people that work in like the nursing home facilities and stuff like that, where they grow close to their patients and things like that. And if that patient passes on, they can enter cycle after cycle of grief as they build this rapport and relationship with their patients.
But actually having relief, that to some people that would look funny. Like they're relieved that this person is actually either passed or maybe they're gone. I believe somebody said once they were relieved, you know, when a relationship ended. You know, or they gave that as an example. And I can understand if there was so much trauma in it or so much effort, you know, put into something like that. And then once it's over, you don't have to work as hard. It frees you up a little bit. I mean, it might scare that person too. Because they might think, well, does that mean I really didn't care? Yeah.
And, you know, just think about abusive relationships.
Yes, ma'am.
You might be very relieved that an abusive mom or an abusive dad passed, right? You may go through the other crying, you know, some of the other ones, lack of initiative, emptiness, you know, suicidal thoughts or things like that, hyperactivity. But relief in there can also just be I'm okay. I'm glad they're gone. I don't have to experience this abuse anymore.
I would think there are some people that are close to me. And I'm speaking very personal. There are some people, my parents, if they were to pass, you know, whether unexpectedly or expectantly, I might have relief because at least I know they're with God. I know some people might not feel that way. You know, but I can speak for me.
Our hope.
That's your hope.
I can speak for me. Like, I know they're in a better place.
Paul said, we don't grieve like those who have no hope.
That's right. We definitely have a hope. Okay, I got a question because we could stay all day on the definition for grief, right? But part of this,
there's a couple other important things about it. Are you?
No, I'm not switching off. I got one more. I got at least this part. So grieving, right? It frees up emotions. Like, what emotions are freed?
Well, in these common reactions to grief, here, let me read some of the emotional reactions: numbness, confusion, euphoria, sadness, guilt, yearning, despair, feeling of being lost, anger, vengefulness, peacefulness, relief, fear, irritability, loneliness, anxiety, apathy, vulnerability, and abandonment. Those are all emotional reactions, and some of those can be very intense. And so as you process it, the process, is it okay if I go on? The process,
no, go ahead.
The process of grief goes from, you have acute grief, which is the initial very painful response to loss. So it can include those psychological symptoms. It can also have physical symptoms. You might experience pain in your body. Inflammation can happen. And so these symptoms of extreme distress, but you can feel out of control, like your life's been shattered, you're numb, disconnected. But over time, usually over a period of several months, the initial waves of that acute grief gradually and naturally transition into integrated grief.
Oh,
And so we can still experience feelings of grief, but they're more manageable. Those feelings are more manageable.
Yes,
and we can begin to enjoy life, and we can begin to function normally again, even though it's a new normal.
Wow.
New normal.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think I remember you also mentioning how there's a loss of serotonin in the brain or something like that.
It's oxytocin.
Oxytocin, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
She's smart.
the brain has God has kind of designed the brain to we bond with oxytocin.
All right.
And so when that thing is gone, that attachment is gone, the oxytocin level decreases so that God kind of helps us to let go, let go.
So naturally, the brain has an ability to process grief.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's why it's important to be intentional about going through,
Yes, ma'am.
going through grief, going from acute grief down into integrated grief, not letting it go into complicated grief.
Yeah.
Because if those intense feelings don't get dealt with, then it can actually turn into something that is essentially it's not a mental illness, but it's something that's in the DSM-5, complicated grief, that needs to really be dealt with a professional, to go and get a mental health professional to help you with complicated grief.
You keep referring back to it as a process. I like that.
Yeah.
You got to hit every step. You can't skip a step in it. Even if you say you want healing, physically, if I was to break my leg, I would have to obviously have probably a trauma surgeon or something like that. Go get triaged, right? It's going to have to go through the cast. But once I'm out the cast, then I have to go to physical therapy, right? To make sure I can walk.
Yeah, that's good.
Make sure my leg is still functionable. And then I can just imagine the thought process. Is my leg still as strong as it used to be?
That's good.
So is my mind still as strong as it used to be?
It was before.
You know, before I suffered the loss of something that was of a great value to me. It's a process.
That's really good.
We have to hit every step.
Yeah.
I encourage the listeners, hit every step.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some models of the grieving process. One of the most famous one is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grieving.
Okay.
But that one really applied to people who were dying.
Okay.
It was people that were going through the process and preparing to die.
Okay.
So that model is not all necessarily applicable to every kind of grief situation.
Yeah.
There are other models that are like, there's 3 steps or 3 stages. There's 12 stages. There's 4 stages. And so through the Light University, my instructors with the American Association of Christian Counselors said, instead of kind of reacting to the stages of grief, to be intentional, do tasks. And so they recommended 4 tasks, Dr. William Warden's 4 tasks for grief work. And so that process, like you were just saying, includes accept the reality of the loss, react to the separation, face it. This did happen. Be intentional. We can't avoid that part.
Right.
Okay.
The next step is work through the pain of the grief. There's no shortcut.
Right.
So you got to embrace it.
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Work through the pain of the grief. There is no shortcut.
There's no shortcut. So I can't skip a step.
You can't skip it.
Man.
Wow.
No shortcut.
Yeah.
And that's really what I learned with the William Bridges and Associates.
Okay.
Their transition processing. Dr. Everly teaches it in critical incident stress management too. He teaches stages. So it's going through.
Yes,
you got to go through.
Got to go through.
And facing it. The other thing is that you don't want to try to do it alone. We're not really meant to isolate.
Yeah.
We're not meant to do this in work in isolation. You can do some of it absolutely in isolation.
Yeah.
You can journal. You can
I like that.
in isolate on your own.
Yes.
But then you got to come out. You got to come back.
Yeah.
And we're meant to comfort one another.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
The third one is adjust to the environment in which the deceased or what was lost is missing. So you have to make that adjustment and then emotionally relocate the deceased or the lost, and then move on with life.
Wow.
But just know that because it happened, your life has changed.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of hit when you said emotionally relocate the person you lost.
Yes.
Like, what is an example of emotionally relocating them?
It would be if someone died, say your spouse died. They're not your spouse anymore. You're not in a relationship with them anymore.
Oh, wow.
That's really sobering.
Yeah.
That is really sobering.
There's someone who was in your life. There's hopefully a special someone that was in your life.
Yeah.
You know, some spouses aren't so great. The loss isn't so bad, right?
Right.
But, you know, if they were a wonderful spouse, then they become a part of your wonderful memories.
Yeah.
They'll always be there. And yet your life has to go on without them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So you mentioned part of a little bit of journal writing, right? But you got to come back out. And then eventually those emotions, they got to be expressed.
Yeah.
Because we're not meant to be on an island.
Right.
You know, I think it's important to express. I express a lot of times in different ways. But what I felt, honestly, was somebody has your healing. When you come out, you can't be stuck. You got to go through the whole process. So you went in, you best to believe you're also coming out.
Yeah.
Because grief is a process that we all go through. God knew that we were going to experience that. So we also have to come out of that same hiding or wilderness spot. So somebody has your healing. Don't hold on to it, you know, for too long. Express it. Get somewhere where you can talk to somebody about it.
And we all process grief differently. We all grieve differently. So some people need to write it out. Some people need to shout it out. Some people need to talk it out. And so it's good to find someone, especially someone with wisdom, hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
Not someone that's going to just go, oh, what's wrong with you?
It'll be fine.
You're fine. Oh, just don't cry. Come on, we want you to get back to being the old you. That's not the person to help you.
Yeah, it shows a lack of empathy.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, like the Grief Center, they have grief support groups for free. That you can go to.
Okay.
They can have individual counseling. There are, you know, Christian counselors that you can find on the American Association of Christian Counselors website, aacc.net.
Okay.
They're Christian counselors that can help you.
Yes, ma'am.
There are pastoral care. Pastors are trained to do pastoral care for people. And there are grief recovery groups in churches.
Okay.
There's no need. And even your counselor can just be your support person. You know? And so there's no need to do this on your own.
Right.
Right. I like that part. There's one thing I kind of want to go back to is the intra-psychic loss, functional loss.
Okay.
There's role loss and then systemic loss.
Systemic loss.
Yeah, we've got the other facets, not just the loss of a person to death. The other facets of life include material, which we've already talked about that. Things that are priceless to us. Relationship loss, not just through death, but like divorce. The also profound losses when people move or, you know, move on, change job, receive promotions. With our work peeps, you know.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Most of the time during the day. Right?
Yeah.
Intrapsychic loss is about the death of a dream, something you believed you would have, or something that you expected to happen, or a wish that you had. So you've got to grieve that when something doesn't happen or it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Can't do that.
That's really
You're expecting something and you don't get it. Yeah.
And then there's also functional loss, so that could be from disease, illness, or disability.
You know, I'm sorry. The functional loss. I'm sorry, my mind. You know, but anyways, people that suffer with lupus, for example, You know,
Yeah.
we have family members.
Yeah, autoimmune diseases.
Autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, cancer.
Cancer. Yeah,
Maybe
yes,
loss of a
ma'am.
limb and things
Absolutely.
like that.
That's a grieving
That's a
process.
functional loss.
Yeah.
Functional loss.
Yes.
It's a grief.
Yes.
That's good
Yes,
to know.
ma'am.
Like you don't know that there's a name for that kind of loss. So this is great information.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also role loss. So when we retire, we might lose our role. Our parent, as parents, we get our children grow up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We become a volunteer instead of an employee.
Yeah.
And then there's also systemic loss when we grieve as a collective group, like when someone of national importance dies.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And a lot of that,
Yeah.
certain losses. So, and I'm sorry, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but there's a lot of good information coming in right now, and it's helping me to how I can deal with myself even.
Yeah.
Primarily, I want to be able to deal with myself. I know it's coming one day.
Yeah.
It's came before.
Yeah.
I know it'll come again. I want to make sure that I have all the tools, and the advice, the wisdom with me, so that way I can handle it.
Yeah, because when you're cognitively impaired when you're in grief, just like when you're in trauma, when you've gone through a crisis or
You're
trauma,
cognitively
impaired for a time.
So you're not thinking straight.
You're not thinking straight.
And that's why they say don't make big decisions when you're
You
grieving.
can't see straight.
Wow.
Your perception's off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's good to know these common reactions so that you can kind of settle down after the crisis is over, after the grief, whatever precipitated the grief is over. And so that you can go, okay, I'm okay. I know I'm on course. I can stay on course.
Okay.
Wow. That's amazing. That's good stuff right there.
You got any questions? Because I don't want to cut you off or anything like that.
Quite a few. So no, you're gonna hit. I'm sure whatever my question is, you're gonna hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How long does it take to get over grief?
That's really based on the individual.
Okay.
And it again, it's not about how long it takes as much as what kind of progress you're making.
Wow. Progress versus how long it takes.
Yeah.
So it's better to have the progress than worry about the timeline.
Progress is
Absolutely.
better. Wow.
Once again, hit every single step.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
Hit every single step. I encourage the listeners to hit every step. I'm encouraging myself now. Hit every single step. Yeah. Progress over the time.
Yeah, it's really dependent on the person's perception of the loss. We talked about the bracelet.
Yeah.
Might not mean anything to anybody, but to you, it could be just a terrible loss.
Yeah.
But usually around 30 to 90 days, people start feeling kind of slowly returning to normal.
Okay.
Most crises last about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
So that's within that 30 to 90 days. The it's kind of and you can't, again, there's no hard and fast rule, but the loss of a spouse, it's usually a minimum of a year. Like you were saying, don't make major decisions for a year. But usually it's about 2 to 3 years to get to the new normal after the loss of a spouse. But that's with an active and intentional approach in doing things to work through your grief.
So that is when you're literally going through each process, going through the process of grief, where you're actually hitting every step that you're supposed to hit. Then you can kind of get to a peak of a new normal in about 2 years when it comes to a spouse.
Yes.
Wow.
So but don't hold
don't hold to that. That's not a hard timeline. Right.
But expect that it ain't going to happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I love the honesty of this, because you said if you're actively doing the work, it's going to take you some time.
You got to be actively doing
doing the work, but you're also encouraging to actively do the work.
Yeah.
Your progress is not going to look like somebody else's.
Exactly.
Forget about the time.
Yeah.
It's your progress.
Yes.
It's you in the gym by yourself. It's you in that wilderness. It's you, in that desert by yourself.
Doesn't have to be by yourself for a time, maybe for a season, but
correct.
Typically we need social support.
Yeah.
The greatest predictor of resilience is social support.
Social support.
The
Wow.
greatest predictor
Resilience,
of resilience.
which is the ability to bounce back after an adversity.
Wow. Social
Is social support.
Chaplain, you be dropping them gems.
It is not good that man should live alone.
Alone.
Wow.
No.
That's
He has
Yeah.
given us helps.
He has given us help.
He has given us
And
helps
I
in so
love
many
this
ways.
too, even while we're here on like a tentative time frame on grief, that literally tells me that if you do not start the grieving process when it happens, you can delay
Yeah.
the grieving process
Yes.
for it to actually even take longer to get to a new
Yeah.
normal
Yes.
after the loss.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Wow.
There's really not any way to avoid it. It's going to come up.
It's going to come up.
sometime in the future,
Yeah, it's going to come. I think
and
that's.
they'll compound if you don't deal with each loss.
Ooh.
It compounds.
Because it'll just be one thing on top of the other.
Yeah.
She said it's going to compound.
Woo. Wow.
So you have to handle it.
You got to
This-
handle it.
This is the soft, warm blanket that we be talking about.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Like
Yes.
you're putting ointment on some wounds.
Yeah.
You really are. It's going to compound. If you're
Mhm.
going through something hard, you don't want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Go get the help.
You don't
But
want to
also
avoid
to
it.
say, don't avoid it, right?
Mhm.
Because it's going to compound. And honestly,
Acknowledge
that's how the enemy
Yeah.
works. He wants to get you secluded
Once you
Mhm.
get you-
in
yes.
solitude by yourself
Yeah.
and continue to pour it on. You know, we say a lot, God won't put more on you than you can bear. But you know who will?
You.
I will. Man will do it to
People?
himself.
Yes.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Other people we already
Yes.
know will do it to you.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
also you yourself. And if the enemy's whispering in your ear, you
Ooh.
know he's putting on the yoke, the burden,
Mm.
and he don't care. He's waiting for you to drown, waiting
Well,
for you to go down.
Wow.
Truthfully, it can turn into mental illness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
yeah.
dealing with
Yeah.
grief,
Yes.
allowing it to go into complicated
Yes.
grief.
Mm-hmm.
You can put your own self
Yeah.
into
Mm.
mental illness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't let the enemy take your mind. God is
don't
not
allow
giving
him
us a
to.
spirit of fear,
Wow.
but of power, love, and a sound mind.
Amen.
Absolutely.
And that's even as we go through
Going through
Yeah.
we go through grief.
yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
love that too, because that kind of takes me to the fact of we can be open in telling someone that we're grieving. You know, we
True.
need to be open in that because they may think you're being short with them or standoffish or something like that.
Mhm.
But I think that if we acknowledge that we're grieving, then the ones around us, we can openly tell them that we are
Yeah.
grieving.
I love one of the things from the Grief Center. It's a mourner's bill of rights, and I
Okay.
think
Oh, wow.
everybody should read
I
it.
read through a little bit last night. It was so good.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
it was so good.
I have the right to mourn. I
Yeah.
have the right
Yeah.
to grieve. I have the right from have my feelings acknowledged.
Yes.
And because there's also things that are called disenfranchised grief can
Uh-huh.
happen if
Mm.
there are losses that aren't recognized by society,
Yeah.
like miscarriages and
Yeah.
stillbirths and deaths of pets and
Yeah.
things like that. And so it can complicate grief when
Absolutely.
it's not acknowledged.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
absolutely have the right to go through grief on any loss.
I love
Yes,
that. I
ma'am.
read a little bit of the Mourner's Bill of Rights, and I'm hoping that we can link it somewhere when we do the podcast. But I'm sorry, when you post the podcast. But it really gives encouragement to the griever that
Yeah.
you have rights to your grief, to go through this emotional journey,
Yeah.
to go through the process to get stronger.
Yes.
Yes, to
I
get
love
stronger.
to
I
get
love that.
stronger.
To get stronger.
That's what it is. That's what it's giving you.
To get
So
Yeah.
it's like a dose of endorphins to like, hey, you can do
Yeah.
this, and you can let people know this is what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and I have the right to do it.
Yeah.
And if they try to poo-poo it,
Uh-huh.
you just go, I'm not going to talk to you anymore about it then.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
Chaplain said, "Don't try to poo-poo somebody's grief."
Yeah. I'm glad
Don't
you
do
got
it.
on that. Yeah. Look, y'all heard it here first.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't try to poo-poo it. All right. But yeah, I love it. I'm thinking about especially the acknowledging.
Yes.
Acknowledge somebody else's.
Yeah.
And if you cannot, then There's probably
Back away.
back away. Yes.
Back away.
Yeah.
Just hush. Just hush. Yes.
Yeah. Didn't Jesus he talked about not so much yes, acknowledging, but when you fed the hungry, you fed me. When you clothed the stranger, you clothed me. Yeah. We need to comfort people, and then I think be on guard to understand where that person is, so we can effectively communicate
And come alongside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Effectively communicate.
It says mourn with those
Active
that are
listen.
mourning. So
Yes.
that's what we are to do. Mourn with them. And if you can't wholeheartedly mourn with them, then give them the space so they can find the right people to be around that can actually mourn with them.
Don't have unreal expectations of people.
Yeah.
But people are yourself.
Yes, or yourself.
Or yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, because one of the things, the loss of a child is considered the worst loss, and it can take 6 to 10 years to stabilize after the loss of a child.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't think that I'm 3 months, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Might not be.
Yeah, I remember.
You might not be.
I remember Kecia. She talked about being in the cloud.
Yeah.
You were in the clouds for 10 years after an event.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. After losing a baby, and I would say a stillborn, you go through the process of having the baby shower, being excited, having all the baby gear together, having the expectations, the family having expectations. But when the baby is unalive at birth,
Kecia,
that is a grief that I don't think you even feel the grief till months later.
Yeah.
Because what they do, or what they did with me, is they put this sticker outside your door to make sure no other babies are wheeled past your room, so that no babies would. So you won't hear any babies crying.
Oh my goodness,
man.
So there's this sticker that's outside of your door that says, that kind of signifies that you are a mother that has lost their baby.
Oh my goodness.
Right. And so then not only going through that process, but then you also go through the process of family members and friends not knowing what to say.
Yes.
So they will literally come sit in the room with you and just look at you.
Yeah. That's traumatizing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to say, and not to blame them, but it's just kind of like, well, I don't need y'all staring at me, right now. And I understand you have ones that are like, I'm sorry for your loss, but you're thinking like, I don't understand how y'all was able to drive. Is this on the news? This should be on the news, because your brain is like, this is a significant event.
Yes.
Right.
It's a trauma.
This is a trauma. This is a significant event. And I'm expecting News Channel 6, 8, 23, and CNN to be outside to give my statement.
Yeah.
But it's different when people are around you that don't know how to acknowledge it, because then you don't know how to acknowledge it.
You gotta be taught.
Right. And so therefore you don't know how to talk to anyone about it.
You gotta be taught.
And so then you cannot accept.
Yeah. Man, you got to be taught how to grieve.
So you can't grieve right there.
Right there.
Right. So for me personally, it took me years to get to the acceptance and the grief. And through those years, it was like a walking zombie.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say the dark cloud, because that was horrible life decisions being made, certain addictions happening, being around the wrong crowd, things of that nature. It's just literally, and I shouldn't have been making decisions. I shouldn't have been doing anything but getting help and going through the grief process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Getting help with something that significant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think there's a phrase for that, like Walking Dead, or
that's the women that are in abusive marriages.
Okay.
And they get divorced, but their abuser is still around and still threatening them.
Okay.
And so they're called the Walking Dead.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
They can't get away from him.
Yeah.
Or her. And it's not always a him.
Yeah.
But they can't get away from the abuser.
Okay.
And they really can't process their grief completely.
Wow.
Because it's not over.
Yeah.
And so they can't ever move on.
So
completely.
basically, as long as that person is alive or around, they're just unable to relieve and relax.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Some common reactions to grief.
Okay. Again, the in the chart,
Mm-hmm.
the behavioral.
Yeah.
So the common reactions are in the physical,
Mm-hmm.
emotional, behavioral, social, spiritual, and cognitive realms. That's what the Grief Center's chart is around. And so, one of the behavioral ones that I think is pretty common is needing to retell the story of the loved one's death. Our brain processes things by telling the story.
Okay.
And so sometimes people want to tell the story. They need to tell the story over and over again.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest gifts that you can give to someone is to actively listen to their story, because it helps them process things and put it in its right place.
Yeah.
The other thing is that children are learning, so their brains, the neuroplasticity in their brains, they're going to talk about things and they may ask you over and over and over and over and over, because their brain is learning. That same neuroplasticity in an older person weakens, and so they may need to tell you over and over and over and over again too.
Wow.
And so again, answer the questions, tell the truth, let them talk. Don't get exasperated or frustrated with them. Let them tell the stories. Find somebody, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but with your similar grieving style that doesn't mind listening to you tell your story over and over again.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, before we pass that, because you just brought it up about kids, I read some of the papers that you had, and it talked about how sometimes we think it is best to not tell kids about a grief or a loss or passing. We think we're protecting them when actually we're doing them a disservice to process grief.
Yeah, we don't want to. We want to. So kids grieve according to their developmental age, and so you can definitely decide how much information to tell them based on kind of their age. But you want to tell the truth, because what if it comes out, the lie that you told them? That can be even more devastating when they find out the truth.
Kids holding on to things 13, 15, 20 years, finding out when they're older.
Wow.
And you talked about earlier, it holds up the process.
It holds up the process.
You could potentially be holding up your child's development.
Yeah.
Your child learning how to successfully, efficiently grieve.
We're going to all grieve throughout our lifetime.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And so the document from the Grief Center on talking to about families grieving, I think is super important.
Yeah.
Because we need to learn how we grieve.
Yeah.
We need to learn how others grieve.
Yeah.
Give them grace, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we need to learn how to do it so that we can do it and become proficient at it.
Yeah.
We become resilient when we go through things and we come out on the other side. And if you don't teach kids how to grieve, then you're kind of handicapping them.
Yeah. Wow. That's good information to know. And one more that I read last night. This one.
Go ahead.
Because that was really, really good about the kids, because I think we do that not to harm them. We're not intentionally trying to harm kids when we don't tell them about, someone passing. We just haven't gotten comfortable enough with the passing or the loss ourselves that we don't want to give them the wrong type of information or misinformation, because we're still uncomfortable or we haven't learned to properly
or we don't know how to help them through the grief. We don't know how they grieve. And we're not going to be able to help them either.
Yeah. And I love that. And another thing that I had read in the documents you gave was also about when a coworker loses someone or is grieving, like how not to approach them a certain way when they come back to work. You know, that was some really, really good information for someone like me that's constantly in the office, and you hear about someone passing away or someone having a loved one pass away.
Yeah.
And also because I'm in management, I deal with that with people that report to me when they have someone pass away. And sometimes you just don't know what to say or how to react when they come back.
Well, and they can be distracted. I mean, they're probably not going to be up to 100% back up to speed for a while.
Got to find that new normal.
Wow.
Yeah, and so as you give them grace and you help support them in the process, you're doing a great service to people.
I love that because it did show to say, hey, if you need some help, I can take this work from you. I can do this for you.
Absolutely.
Taking things off of their plate when they return back to work. So that was really good information.
Yeah. All right, I got two. This is two questions in one. 2 for 1. When do you get help? And then what not to say to somebody in grief?
I think that it's good to get help as early as possible.
Okay.
And so knowing that acute grief has intense emotions, if you can't get those out by, again, journaling, writing, shouting, if those intense emotions are not kind of resolving in that 30 to 90 day period, it's probably time to get some help.
Okay.
If you don't start going into integrated grief where the feelings aren't as strong, the feelings are more manageable in integrated grief. Definitely, though, before it gets to complicated grief.
Okay.
And if you're in complicated grief, you have to have help from a mental health professional.
Gotcha. Yes, ma'am.
The wonderful thing about the Grief Center is that they've got free support groups. They have individual counseling, and they even, through insurance, they even have it on a sliding scale. They have bereavement camps for children and teens.
Okay.
Finding out about the resources that are available is a great step.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to highlight those resources and the stuff we have here in the Tulsa area, Broken Arrow area.
It's a very unique resource, I think. I moved up here from Austin, Texas. I'm not aware of any kind of a grief center down there. There may be one now, but I wasn't aware of one down there. So, and in ministry, I was of the prayer ministry for one of my churches. People, we got the calls that, after when people were dying, people died, and helping people through grief or telling them about resources. We had to keep a list of things.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think this is a wonderful resource.
Yeah. There's also, of course, with the counseling, what do you call it? MDR?
EMDR.
EMDR.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think I call it magic. I know we're not supposed to call anything magic, but I call EMDR magic. And I was doing the Citizens Police Academy, and Major Garrett was talking about his officer-involved shooting incident, and he had said that he had done EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. That he had done that after his event, and not too long after finishing up the Citizens Police Academy, I had a wreck. Not my fault. It wasn't my fault. At 10 o'clock at night, coming home from a church conference. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And totaled my car. I got a concussion, but I knew from what he had said to go and get EMDR. And it's a technique that is used by mental health professionals that helps to really take the emotion that's tied to the event, the memory of the event, and put the memory in its proper place and kind of calm the emotions.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it's something, especially after a crisis or a trauma, which a wreck, car wreck is a trauma. It's a traumatic event that can really help you process it, not be nearly as upset because the emotions are quieted and calmed down. So I can't say enough. I highly recommend EMDR. I, again, do it myself.
I've had it done before too. It does work.
After traumatic
efficient
incidents.
It's very, say even after the first time gave confidence,
Yes.
that you can deal with it and get through it.
You can
To hit every process, hit every step in the process.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because again, as a law enforcement officer, first responder, you don't want those things to compound.
Yeah.
You don't want those traumatic scenes to continue to play and replay in your mind. You want to be able to put it in its proper place in your brain.
Yeah.
And deal with the emotions.
Okay. So what not to say to people who are grieving?
Well, I think that there are, as Kecia said, sometimes people just don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But and they may say things that sound spiritual or sound comforting, and they just aren't.
Yeah.
They're not spiritual, they're not biblical, and they're not comforting.
Yeah.
So things like, well, God just needed another angel, or it was God's will. You'll get over it. You're young. You can have more children.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was told. Actually,
Yeah.
that's how my youngest one got here. Actually,
be thankful you have other children.
Yep.
Don't cry. Crying only upsets you. Men don't cry. I just like to add to that Jesus cried is the shortest verse in the Bible. Jesus wept.
He sure did.
He did.
And David, the mighty warrior, cried.
Yeah, he sure did.
Put his tears in the bottle. So real men do cry.
I cry. Okay.
I love that.
I cry. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm in my prayer room. Guess what? I'm crying.
Yeah.
If I'm at church, guess what? I'm crying.
Yeah.
You might see me on the sideline crying.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll be all right.
It's
a natural
I can
reaction.
attest to that.
Yeah.
And Chaplain, you talked about this a little bit when you joined me on the Journey to Purpose workshop. You talked about the different type of grievers.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
so this is a good way. I'd like for you to talk about that in regards to maybe finding someone that grieves the way that you kind of do. So go ahead and explain that to us too.
That there are society kind of expects us to grieve in a stereotypical way, right? So men are supposed to grieve this way, women are supposed to grieve this way. So the female stereotype is to be very emotional, very, as you're going through grief, very demonstrative, expressing your emotions, exploring your feelings. And the stereotypical male griever is expected to be more thinking. They're more cognitive and behavioral. They're not as emotional. But what my instructors with the American Association of Christian Counselors said is that there are women who are more of the head griever, the cognitive behavioral griever. And they're not going to be as demonstrative. They're not going to be as emotional. There are men who are more like the heart griever, which is the women, the more emotional, expressing their feelings. There are also blended grievers. They have both styles. And so depending on the type of loss, depending on, how, whatever it is, their perception of the loss, they might grieve it head grieving. They might grieve it heart grieving. And so it's real important to be able to recognize someone's style and to allow them to grieve their way, because sometimes if a man may be not crying over a loss, a woman who's a heart griever might think, well, you didn't love them as much. You're not being as emotional. But this doesn't mean that. It just means that we grieve differently. It doesn't mean that that the loss didn't mean as much. It doesn't mean that you didn't love them as much. It doesn't mean that you're not grieving. It just means you have a different style.
Amen.
And kids have a different style too. So you need to teach them their style and how to grieve according to their style.
Yeah. I love that definition. That definitely helped me because I'm more of a head griever. I process, and then I allow things to flow naturally the way it should flow for me. So it's thoughts first and then tears.
Yeah.
And the tears are maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And sometimes the head grievers need to go do things.
Yes.
You need to just go do something to help process through the grief. And if the tears don't come, okay.
Right.
I'm a head griever too.
Empowering.
Yeah.
That is empowering.
Sometimes I have to listen to Susan Boyle's debut on the Britain's Got Talent, and y'all might not have seen it, but that'll make me cry because she was so undervalued, and there were people who were like, "Oh no, she can't do it," and she belted out this song. And just absolutely floored people, and that can make me cry.
And I love that too, because that just shows another way that head grievers, we know crying is healthy.
Yes,
and so we will look for things that will help us actually let tears out. Like for me, it could be that worship song, that one worship song that is just going to let me just belt it out, you know, in tears. So that's helpful. That is so helpful. I'm definitely a head griever.
You are a head griever.
He literally will watch to see if I'm going to have tears. Like we'll be watching something sad, or maybe just heard some really sad news. And you see this look he has at me now. He's waiting to.
Is a tear coming?
Yeah. No, it's actually I finally understand now. You know, but I finally understand.
Know how I normally process it. You know, sometimes you think it's off because most people around you may process it a different way.
Well, and one of the ladies at your workshop came up to me afterward and she said, "Thank you for telling me that, because I thought there was something wrong with me, that I wasn't being this emotional."
Yes.
You know,
because people will tell you that something's wrong with you.
Yeah. She said,
"You're not hysterical.
I think you're a sociopath, psychopath."
Yeah. And she said, "I'm so glad to know it's just me." That's just how I do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm happy to get an education about grieving. And then 2, being able to share it and hopefully one day put this to good use for other people. Because we will suffer loss. You know,
we all do.
Trials, tribulations, we all will suffer it. And I think it's important to keep emphasizing it's going to happen. And there's a way to get through it.
Your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Not just someone dying. And maybe that's, people think, well, I should just be grieving because someone died. That's not true.
Like I feel some type of way when one of my plants just died. It could be a plant that I just love, you know,
or an expensive plant.
You remember when that tree died?
Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Remember when that tree died? Last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sad.
That was kind of sad.
I understand.
That was kind of sad.
I understand.
And I love that too. I believe we talked about this the last time, how the only way to prepare for grief is to expect it.
Yes. And anticipating it can actually shorten it.
Okay.
Shorten the time. So you can give yourself a big favor.
Anticipate
by
grief.
Anticipating it, knowing it's going to happen, knowing about it, acute to integrated grief, looking for that, going through, embracing it and going through.
And that's so upside down for most of us. And thinking.
Well, where do we get our education from? Where do we get it? We get it from today's culture, our society, our bad traditions, bad habits. You know, the Bible records, Hosea, my people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
But this is very,
it
this
gives
has
knowledge.
been, man.
It gives a lot of knowledge.
Well, and one more thing, if you don't mind, I think that it's important for all of us to learn what not to say.
What not? Yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Please educate us.
You know, we don't want to say, "I know how you feel." You know, you may think you do, but you don't. You know, if your father died and my father died, that's something in common. But if your father was abusive and my dad was the greatest dad on the planet, your experience is not going to be my experience, right? So you can't really say, "I know how you feel," just because the loss is similar.
Wow.
You know, what happened, you'll feel better if you talk about it. Well, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Are you going to listen? Are you really going to be an active listener?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, don't try to get them to talk if they're not ready. If you're not going to listen. And don't turn something, you know, what, this happened to me. Well, it's not about you. And it's not about your loss.
Man, that is so, that is huge. Because I see this a lot, and I know you probably see this a lot too, where people will take something traumatic that happened to somebody else and make it about them. to have the eyes turned around on them.
Exactly.
And I think I've learned to
See it all the time at funerals.
Yeah. I've learned to like keep it with them. First of all, because I don't want to carry it.
Yeah.
I have my own stuff to carry.
Yeah.
So I want to keep it on you, like stay focused on the person that is grieving. Let them talk it out. I'm crazy enough to believe that when they're actually ready, they will talk about it. It will start coming up in regular conversations. And that means that it probably is not as hurtful as it was in the beginning.
And with the head grievers, maybe they just need to process it a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know? Some of the other things don't say is at least they're no longer in pain. Focusing on good things really is more likely to minimize somebody's experience. So don't try to cheer up those who are grieving.
Okay.
This is hard, but it's important to remember the good things in life too. But when people are grieving, it's important that they be allowed to experience and express whatever feelings, memories, or wishes they're having. And you'll need to be strong for your family now. It's important to get a grip on your feelings. No, you don't need to be strong. You need to be able to grieve. You need to process it yourself. We don't want to tell kids, oh, you got to be the man now. You got to be a little man of the house.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot to put on a young one. You know?
They're not ready for it. They're not capable.
They're not ready for it. And so instead you could say, would you like to talk about it? I'm thinking this must be painful for you. Don't worry about work while you're gone. We'll take care of things for you. We're glad to have you back. What sorts of things have you been thinking about since your loved one died? Ask open-ended questions.
Okay.
So tell me more about what this has been like for you. What kind of memories are you having of your loved one? Most people have strong feelings when something like this happens to them. So what's this been like for you? Get them to name their emotions. That helps them tremendously.
Yeah.
And then, how's your family doing? What kind of concerns do you have about them? So ask those kinds of questions.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
That is good.
This has been amazing.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do this. But there's some times where I know I had like divine appointments or setments with people who helped me to grieve when I was going through. There was a brother that I had when I was going through something. He took me to like a demolition place where you can go in there and you can break things. Break stuff. I forgot the name of it. They call it a crash house or something.
Yeah.
But I thank God for a friend, a brother like that, that saw that and was like, hey, look, let's go get some of this anger out. Let's get some of this frustration out.
And sometimes that anger, that's a good thing to get it out, but sometimes it can really overstimulate anger too.
Oh, yeah.
But what you focused on was that your brother saw your need and did something about it. They took action.
Yeah. So it's good to have those friends that they're going to be trying. They want to be helpful. They don't want to be.
Yes.
Man, isn't that what half of our job is supposed to be?
Yeah.
To come alongside of a person. One of the things too that I also do, I'm telling y'all need to get a prayer journal.
Please journal.
If you don't have a prayer journal, get a prayer journal. I've cried in this thing. I've bled in these things. All my prayers, he might not answer them that year. But sooner or later, the questions that I ask, I get the answers to them.
Yeah.
Right. I want to read this because this is a prayer poem that I wrote. I think this is actually, this is 2004. So this actually is last year. Okay. And if you got anything.
2024?
2024.
Okay, you said 2004.
Yeah, 2024. Been soul searching for a long time now. You can call it having to come to Jesus. This journey was initiated by an event which thrusted me into the deep. No signs for direction, no signs for time elapse, no measure of the deepness. Just me, myself, and I, stilled away out of mind. Anger, frustration, grief, rejection, depression may be the catalyst, but purpose is the reason. There is meaning to this. I commune with my own soul, and sometimes I don't like what I see or what I feel. Is this me? Is this what's underneath the smile on my face? Is this me? The agony under the laughter of my belly? In this deepness, in this wilderness, I find a bush not consumed by fire. It speaks with me. It instills in me. It gives me hope. All is not lost. It is not in vain. There is purpose in the deep. It's a voice that cries out from the wilderness. It's the still small voice. You are a living purpose. You are divinely destined. Obviously, I was going through something, going through some things. And yes, I'm human, but I believe and I trust in my source.
Yes.
Okay. I will be grieved, but he'll get me through it.
He's promised to never leave us and never forsake us.
Amen.
I'll be with you always.
Always. And it's so important, especially those that are believers, those that have faith. God is not going to leave you. He's not going to put more on you.
Yeah.
He'll also send people to you to give you the knowledge, to show you the process, to be with you along the way.
Yes.
And I want this to be a blessing to those that hear this, or maybe somebody who is struggling with grief. You can come alongside them, give them some information, maybe even get them to somebody or to another place. So that way the enemy doesn't have a heyday with them. And then they're coming up with mental illnesses. You'll see that they're still stuck in a certain stage of life where they're not able to progress.
Yeah.
You said grief is a process.
Yes.
It is meant to be a progressive process.
Right.
We need to move forward. We should be moving.
Even if it's back and forth,
Even
there
if
should
it's back
still
and
be movement.
Right.
Yes.
Don't stay
Don't
still.
stay
Don't stay stuck.
Don't hide.
And don't expect the end of a grief.
Man.
Don't expect the end of a grief. I personally think that it's there. It just minimizes over the years.
Well, and that's kind of what integrated grief does. Those feelings may still be there, but it's you've put it into its proper place.
Yes.
You've done your task, and you can go on with your life. Those people, those things, they'll always be a part of your life.
Yeah.
It's not like it didn't happen.
Right.
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 But we've got to work through the process to put it in its proper place so that we can go on.
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
think that that's also too exactly why you said you wanted to do this, because the holidays are coming up and people are remembering loved ones and things like that. So things like holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, and things like that can bring the grief back.
First, after the loss of someone, first set of holidays, first Thanksgiving, first Christmas, first birthday.
Wow.
Those can all absolutely be triggers. You got to watch around those times.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to just commend Jonathan for journaling.
Yes.
That's a way of getting things out of your head.
Yeah.
You can get it out of your head, and then you can actually look back. You can think on it. You can process it. But you've gotten it out of your head. It's not just stuck in there.
Yeah.
And it makes room for more insight.
Yep.
And you can go back and you can see progress.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can, when you journal things, put the date on them. So
That's awesome.
I commend you. That's awesome.
Make it personal.
Yeah.
I believe in the power of prayer. I wouldn't be who I am, wouldn't be where I am right now without prayer, without God in my life. So I have to have them.
Amen.
Yes, Jesus in therapy. Yes, it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also too, some people, they depend on so much. I want to say the spiritual aspect of things, but they also too they try to neglect the human side of them. But I think it's important to put everything in its proper place, as you say. And prayer journaling, prayer has helped me out a lot with that.
Yeah.
It's so personal to me. At the end of all of my prayers, I sign my name.
Yeah.
Jesus is me.
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah.
I love
See
that.
there's real tears in this thing.
Yeah.
These pages are stiff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Amen.
Man,
So
I love that.
I don't know.
Man,
where we at? What
this
time
has
is it?
been powerful.
Yes.
More knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also say too that with this knowledge, I hope not only can it help someone start their grief journey, accept their grief journey, And also recognize when someone close to them may be grieving,
yeah.
and maybe help them, be a listener for them.
Yeah.
And so I know Jonathan will tag or try to put the website to the Tristan Center
Yeah. In the grieving groups. Yes.
in there. But this has been amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
Every time we talk to Chaplain, I mean, she just gives us so much
Warm
knowledge.
Southern.
Yes,
language.
this woman is full of wisdom. She
Yes.
is grateful for her.
Yeah.
Love y'all too.
All right. Well, Chaplain, you got any final words before we do the send off?
I don't. I just want to thank y'all so much for the opportunity.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
Yes,
getting
ma'am.
the opportunity to be with the ladies in Kecia's Journey to Purpose workshop.
Yeah.
You know, I think that it's important to always remember that even though something happened, you grieve, you
Yeah.
go through that, God's purpose is still there for
Amen.
your life.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you've got to keep on moving on into his purpose for your life.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, and you know, thank you for the opportunity to come be on the couch.
Yes.
No. Look,
Yes.
Kingdom Connections. It's
Absolutely.
Kingdom Connections. God told me get you. I was like, yes, sir. I just got to make sure I get you scheduled in. But I know this. There's a reason why we do this, and there's a reason why we have all the connections.
Yes.
You know, because I don't operate like this. This is something that's totally out of my comfort zone. Having a podcast, but God knows, and I'd rather be obedient to that because He also knows what His people needs.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
He knows what He
absolutely.
needs.
Yeah.
Well, once again, welcome to the King's Couch podcast. For those of you that have been following us, listening to the episodes, following us on social media, I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, we
Continue
do.
to help support us. The likes, the shares,
Yes.
even just the views, it helps out a whole
They
lot.
do.
God is this. It has an opportunity for this to really affect other people in a positive
And
way.
help them. Yes.
This is the King's Couch.
Yes, it is.
We're epically kingdom around here.
Yeah.
Epically.
Epically.
And we're going to keep it epically
We're
kingdom
gonna
around
keep it
here.
epically kingdom.
Talking about the humanity
Mhm.
and talking about the kingdom of God
Yeah.
in the hearts of men.
What
Amen.
God does for us.
Amen.
Amen.
Y'all take care. God bless. All God
All
and all
kingdom.
kingdom.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's go.
Amen.
Bye, y'all.